It's that time once again, as another My Hero Academia episode has come and gone. And now it's time to find out if our young heroes have what it takes to babysit properly. My reviews are going to work in a way where I talk about the new episode and its contents while glancing over what I think was cool, talk about my favorite character and moment in the episode, and then if I feel like there is anything worth mentioning in regards to it, I'll also talk about my least favorite character and moment. With that out of the way, let's get right into things and find out if these kids are stronger than heroes. The episode opens right up with the finish of the last one. Our young heroes staring down a group of unruly children who will do all they can to prove to everyone that they're stronger than heroes. The kids immediately launch an attack with their combined quirks, including a few called Binging Balls, Assault Dust, and Viral Cosmos. Their combined attack end up in an explosion, engulfing our young heroes and potentially defeating them. President Mike comments that kids these days are just too incredibly strong, commenting that when he was this young, he didn't have any sort of power like this. Seiji steps up next to him and chimes in that he has heard that as generations pass, quirks will mix and deepen. Apparently, quirks may one day become so strong that it's difficult for anyone to control, and this is called the Quirk Singularity Doomsday Theory. The teacher rapidly apologizes and stands up as if she is going to try and put an end to the things herself, but President Mike stops her and lets her know that it's the students' turn right now to handle things. The kids launch another attack at the heroes that gets blown away, showing that they were fine after the first and fine again after a second. The kids are shocked to see that the young heroes aren't scared of their quirks at all, and they attempt another onslaught. One of the young heroes uses her quirk, Queen Beam, on Todoroki, which ends up turning him into some sort of dreamy guy that extends his hand out to the girl. Within moments though, Todoroki turns to dust and it's revealed that it was Cammy, using her quirk to make it look like he was there. President Mike quickly cuts in and lets us know that Cammy's quirk is glamour. With her quirk, she can create illusions for a short period of time. Bakugo mocks Todoroki for the way he just looked in Cammy's illusion, but Inasa quickly breaks up the joking so they can put their plan into action. The leader kid in the purple suit begins to get worried, saying that he knows he can outshine adults at anything. He can play the piano better than them even. He sees heroes on the television constantly getting in trouble, and even the police. Their teacher even cries easily and can't keep a hold of them. All adults are beneath him in this kid's mind. He says that the kids will show the young heroes that they can use their powers better than them. But without much warning, Inasa builds up a force of wind that carries them all into the sky. Cammy uses her illusion quirk to create the northern lights within the building, and Todoroki begins freezing everything around him to make chutes out of ice, using the stuff from the kids' quirks to help with the foundation. Kids are sent down the ice as if they were slides, immediately finding themselves with smiles on their faces, enjoying the ride. Some of the children are incredibly taken aback by the fact that Todoroki was able to create such things with ice, but he quickly lets them know that without them, he wouldn't have been able to. He isn't capable of creating complex structures, so he used the things the kids attacked with to create the slides. He essentially thanks the kids for having such good quirks, and that leads to them all surrounding him asking for a turn on the slide. Bakugo thinks back to the conversation they had just prior to enacting this plan, saying that losing to an opponent that you look down on can just make you feel like crap. Inasa adds that they need to find a way to do something because at this rate these kids will grow up to create problems for others, much like how he did during the provisional exam. Seiji is impressed with their plan that allowed them to completely dodge the kids' attacks, while also deepening the exchange between the two sides without breaking the children's spirits. President Mike comments that this is a good way to use quirks, and that it is a relief that they came up with such a plan. Bakugo steps up to the kid in the purple suit and grabs a hold of him, telling him he needs to go have fun too. The kid tries to fight him and tells Bakugo that the standards here are too low for him, pulling away. Bakugo reminds this kid that he is the leader of the others, and that if he keeps looking down on everyone, then he won't notice his own weaknesses. Inasa lifts the kid up into the air with wind, and he's able to recognize that Bakugo's words came from his heart, and he smiles accepting them. The teacher is shocked on the sidelines that the kids are being so well behaved, and President Mike reminds her that now it's going to be her turn again, and he asks her to please guide them well. In the stands, All Might asks once again the reason to be strong, and admits to Endeavor that the answer is very simple. Gang Orca congratulates the students for connecting with the kids and reminds them to remember what they have learned today and be ready to work hard next time as well. The group exits the building and they run into All Might, President Mike, Endeavor, and the teacher from Shiketsu High School, along with Seiji. Cammy rushes over and asks what they were all talking about, and apparently since she was attacked by the League of Villains before, the two schools are deciding to communicate more in the future to share information. Endeavor remarks to Todoroki that he has changed a lot and that he is proud of him. This doesn't exactly make Todoroki happy to hear, but Endeavor swears to his son that he will become a hero that he can be proud of. He will make him proud that his father is the #1 hero and the most powerful man. Todoroki tells him to do what he wants, and Inasa absolutely punches himself in the face with force and walks over to Endeavor, telling him that he will be cheering him on as well, and perhaps putting the ill feelings he had towards the new #1 behind him. Endeavor thanks him and also comments that he is really bleeding a lot. A voiceover by All Might narrates that while things are going slowly, both Endeavor and these students are moving forward, despite sometimes hitting a standstill and having to look back. The second half of the episode takes us back to UA and the student life once again. Deku and the students involved in the raid join Eraserhead and All Might Limelight and attending the funeral held for Sir Night-Eye. After discussion held between the school and the hero agencies about work studies, it is decided that everyone would wait and see what to do next. Over at the Night-Eye agency, Centipeter has taken over and is eagerly awaiting for Togata's return to working with them. At the hospital, Eri has finally regained consciousness and has been doing better physically, but because she is still unstable emotionally and with a quirk that could go out of control at any time, no one has been allowed to come and see her. However, the horn on her forehead that releases her quirk has seemed to have sunken down a bit as her fever went away. In class, Ida and Uraraka come up to Deku and comment that he seems to have been really into things like his studies lately. Ida says that they should head to the cafeteria and eat some food so they can keep it up in the afternoon too. As Deku is agreeing to go with them, suddenly a piece of cheese is stuffed into his mouth by none other than Aoyama. Deku eats the cheese, albeit freaked out, and tries to take this as his classmate just being a nice guy. Ida attempts to invite him to join them in the cafeteria for lunch, but Aoyama declines, saying that the food at UA doesn't agree with him. Not long after that, in the middle of the night, Aoyama is seen climbing around on a balcony, which leads into Deku's room. He stares in and leaves something outside, walking away. Deku suddenly jolted up from his sleep, realizing that Aoyama was just outside his room. With fear in his eyes and heart, he looks outside, and written in cheese is the phrase, "I know." The next morning, Deku walks in the class and immediately makes eye contact with Aoyama. Aoyama is a free spirit who always says and does what he wants, and that's all Deku really knows about him. During a later class where the students are practicing moves with their quirks, Aoyama makes Deku watch him do something that ends up hurting his stomach. Deku helps Aoyama to the side, and they end up discussing exactly what's going on. Aoyama comments that he knows Deku's quirk isn't compatible with his body, and that his is the same way. He has to wear the belt in order to use his quirk right, because if not, his naval laser would leak out. He just wanted to let Deku know that he wasn't alone in having a quirk that messes with his body. If Deku only faces painful things, he won't be able to twinkle. And that's why Aoyama worked hard to surprise him. From that day on, the two became friends, and Deku presumably lived life a little less freaked out. Well, I've got to say this episode was a really nice rebound from the last two. The issue with the children was overcome in a funny and good way that probably helped teach the young heroes a good lesson about how to connect with others that they really needed to know. The stuff with Endeavor changing ever so slightly was also really nice, and it proved that All Might's words had an effect on him. I was laughing very often in the second half of the episode with the Aoyama stuff, and honestly, this was what I hope My Hero does for a second half of the season, if it's really going to be a departure from what we've gotten in the past. A bunch of humor, lots of life lessons, and some fun character writing for those we don't get to spend a lot of time with. This was a step in the right direction, and now it's just a matter of time before we see if it's able to keep up this level of quality. The preview for the next episode shows us that planning for the school festival is finally getting underway, and the students are going to work hard to do something fun for it, as an apology for all the trouble they've caused for the other courses during the school year thus far. Deku and Togata will go and see Eri, and hopefully have a heartwarming moment with her. And then it looks like we're going to get a glimpse into a villain, who will presumably show up during this arc. Well, that's going to do it for my review of My Hero Academia Season 4, Episode 17, Relief for Licensed Trainees. If you guys enjoyed this one, let me know in the comments below, and subscribe to Mystic Sage with notifications on so you don't miss my review of the 4th season's next great episode. I've got a lot of great videos about My Hero Academia already on the channel, and about plenty of other anime, as well as with more to come. I hope you guys have been enjoying these reviews and the show so far as well. And I'll be back at it again soon with another review of the next My Hero episode.